Hello class, welcome to Introduction to Business. I am Tom Gailey and this is Fall 2022. This is an online course. This video is intended to walk you guys through everything that you need to know, a little bit of visual. If I go fast, you can repeat this video and check it out. Here is the D2L shell, Desire to Learn shell that we talk about. I'm going to run through all these tabs and I'm talking about some of the companion material, some of the homework. This should set you up for the whole course. So here's our class. Often we will see announcements maybe every week, every other week, every couple of days maybe. Here are some things. This is currently what we're announcing about getting started. But the first thing you're going to want to go to is your content tab, which is right here. The content tab is going to have on the left side a bunch of different tabs that show you what to do. Here's getting started. One of the things you want to do is go right to the syllabus, which is sitting right here. It's also right here. I will populate with other things as we go for getting started. Next tab is the textbook resources. Now I'm going to come back to this in about a minute or two because I want to walk through all the textbook material, but we're talking about content and all these things here. So you got content and all the things that are in the course. So here's the next one down under textbook is homework assignment instructions. So when you click one of these, you're going to see the instructions on how exactly you are to put together this outline. How are you going to do a financial? What about operations? We'll get to that when it comes. But those are the instructions for the homework assignments. So each week, it's a good idea to check the date and see what date we're in. So if it's between August 22 and 28, you should be looking at week 1. And here's a bunch of things to do for this week. I've got a lot more detail in the beginning to kind of get you started and get you knowing what's going on. Throughout here, there's all kinds of links. Here's that syllabus again. Here's the first discussion question, which we'll talk about in a moment. Here's that first assignment that we'll talk about, a little bit of introductions. Here's some stuff about the chapters that you'll see. And here are the assignments in Cengage. Get to know the word Cengage. That's the buzzword for the companion testing material that we're doing for this online course. So here's what week 1 looks like. I'll throw in things here like reminders of stuff coming up and assignments that are happening and things like that. Here's what week 2 looks like, a little bit less instruction because we actually have 2 chapters for week 2. There are 2 chapters in week 3. So we're really moving fast in the beginning with the Cengage companion material to get you going on that. By 2 or 3 weeks into the course, you should be taking these tests and we should know. Otherwise, I'll get back to you and find out if you have problems signing up or getting registered or having trouble just taking the tests. Some people aren't so comfortable with that. Some people are real smooth with that. So here's what week 2 looks like. You go on and so forth. Week 3, we're going to have, like I said, just 2 chapters in week 3, so there's lots of concept checks and module quizzes. Okay, so as you go through the weeks, you've got them all lined up here. I've got some business plan examples. Check that out later on. So that's what the content tab is all about here. Now, the next tab is going to be the assignments tab. So there are a number of homework assignments. And this is a good one to get familiar with because we've got where the assignment is and what you're doing. And importantly, you've got due dates over here. So this is when these are due. The favorite company paper is due here. Your business plan outline is not due till September 19th. Notice these homework dates have a lot of time because I want you to get going on the companion material and get smooth with that. There's a lot of Cengage companion material to run through in the beginning here. And then we'll have a basis for how we're going to put together things. You know that we're putting together a small basic business plan for a business that you are creating, which is really part of the fun of this class, is that you can create a plan, a business plan. And through that business plan, we're going to take it in small chunks. We're going to take the finances and just do a layout of what the finances might, how we might fill that in. We're going to do a little operations plan. We're going to see how the business operates, what kind of management goes in, and you're going to talk about your marketing, and then you're going to put things together for for financial, and then put all the business plan together. So those are what the assignments are. Now let me go back to the content tab and show you homework assignment instructions. Here's what the business plan outline instructions will look like. You click through, this is what you're supposed to do. We're doing it in outline format, tells you all the instructions. I don't have to go through that right now. You can certainly read what's going on there. So that's what the assignments are. This is actually a Dropbox. So it's pretty simple. If you've used D2L before, your student view will look a little bit different than this, but it says load your file and it's a Dropbox. Next thing I want to go through is the discussions. And here are the requirements for discussions. And let me say this. This is an online class. You don't have to go to class. You don't have to get in your car and go in and listen to me. It's self-paced. You do it on your own, and you have to do it on your own. So the discussions are all about just like if you were to go to class. The discussions are bringing everybody together on a particular topic, which is what we are studying during that week. So you're talking about what we're studying. You should use the reference, the textbook if you can. But these discussions are very important for you to participate in. If you don't participate in the discussions, it's like just like you didn't go to class. And if you never went to class, you don't get credit for that. That's how it works. That's how it works in the real world. So that's how it's going to work here. No discussion work, no points, you're not in class. If you don't participate in the discussions in the first couple of weeks, then you're not going to be able to pass the course. In fact, we will drop you for non-attendance. That's what online discussion is attendance. So the discussions is an important one. Here's the requirements. I'm not going to read these right now. I'll go through the basics of this, but by Wednesday, you should put something out by Wednesday. That's a couple of days to just throw something out. And then what you're doing is discussing further based on what other people say. So you can comment on somebody else's. And you don't just say, hey, great post. I like that. Give us some content. You know, I can tell fluff pretty easily. I've done this a long time. I know what fluff is, and you're just typing to say nothing. Give us some meaning. Go out on a limb. Say something. Here's a little thing to do introductions. It's good to know you. There's lots of people in this class, so throw out something about what you're all about. That helps. It actually helps our community and helps us get along a little bit better and help with this discussion, really. Here's the first question to talk about. Here's a short TED Talk about consumerism or something like that. Here's where you click in and put your comments. Okay. Next week, we're going to have some business plan ideas, and I'm going to put some thoughts out there for you to discuss with your classmates. Imagine you're sitting in a room and you're all talking. That's what the discussion is all about. So just get comfortable knocking out a post that says, here's what I think. Don't make it fluff. And you know what I'm talking about. Fluff is just not saying anything. So give us some content. Go ahead and give us some information that you read or found on the internet. Or here's some business plan ideas. Or here's a good example is ethics. You're going to need to talk about what ethics are all about, and it would be fine to bring in some real examples from the real world. So it's not just something that pops into your head that you decide to start writing about. So put some thought into this, and I'll give you the full points for that. So here it is, content, assignment, discussions. Let me go back to the companion material, and usually I go to content and find out where I am. Oh, look, here I'm in week 2, and I have not taken the module quiz or the concept check for week 2. Let me point out this show what you know is not graded. It's just kind of a pretest to let you know what was coming up. Sometimes you know a lot about a subject, sometimes you don't. So this is just a practice quiz. There's no test, there's no requirement for you to do it. If you already know about the subject, go right into concept check 2.1, and this is your quiz. Now, this is very important to understand. For concept check, mine shows the answers here, so sorry, we can't do that one. But for concept check, you can take it over and over again and get all the points. You're getting graded for this. You're getting 5 points for just a little 5-question test. Each section in the chapter has a little concept check to it, so take the concept check. What I recommend to people to do is go have the textbook handy so you can refer to it, because basically the answers is sitting right there. The answer is in the textbook. These are questions coming straight from the OpenStax textbook. So you take the concept check, and if you get a wrong answer, take it again. You can get it. You should all have 100%. This is free points. This is free stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where we were here in week 2, And I'm going to go all the way down. I've taken all these concept checks, and now look, I've got a Module 2 quiz. I'm pretty versed on Chapter 2. I'm going to take a quiz. Quizzes are a little bit longer. There are between 10 and 15 questions, and it's worth, I believe it is, this course, 25 points. And here's a very important note. You get 2 chances to take this test. The first time you may not get 100%, but you'll get a second chance. So it would be very wise for you to take a few notes on what you might have gotten wrong. It'll show you what's wrong, but go through the test again. And again, you should be getting 100% on this. So everybody for the Cengage Open Now material should pretty much ace this stuff. This is the review. This is the textbook that you're supposed to study for the course. Let me say something else, that this is a guaranteed transfer course, which means a couple of things. It means that you can take this course and it is guaranteed to transfer to University of Colorado or CSU or Harvard or Stanford or MIT or any other college, most any accredited college. So for that reason, we have requirements. You have to do certain things. You have to do some written assignments. You have to do the textbook. This is an approved text. So this is what you're getting credit for in the college arena. So these are the minimum requirements. So you've got your Open Now. Let's see if I've missed anything else. Sometimes you just go back to the course and see, where are we? What's going on? Here's the announcement. I'll say, hey, this week, don't forget this thing. We've moved a question. I've dropped a question. Some things that are current are in this announcements area right here. And then again, I'll review it. You got your content tab. You go through, look for what week is it? Oh, okay, here we are. We're in week 3. Here's a couple of things about what we're talking about. Week 1 has a big chapter with lots of information. Week 2, we're going to do 2 chapters. Not very much information. There's lots in chapter 1, but 2 and 3 aren't that big. Week 3, we are going to do chapter 4 and 5. So again, we're moving quickly. One other thing about the pace and direction is in week 4, we are switching directions and jumping towards the end of the book to finances. I want to get the finance picture out of the way so that you have a concept of what you're building. Of course, in business, we're building something to make money. How do you do that? Well, you have to have finances. So we should have a picture of what finances are all about as we go through everything. That'll help you, really. So what we do is we knock out chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we jump over to chapter 14, and it looks like we go to 15, and then we go back into chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and run through the rest of the book. Later chapters are smaller. Concept check questions are shorter. There are less questions in the concept check and the module quiz as we go along. I'd say the first 5 or 6 or 8 chapters has more. The last half has a lot less, just as you pace your way through. So I think that's what we have here. We've got content, we've got assignments where you put in, you Dropbox your assignments here. In the end, you're going to put in a business plan, the final one, and then a final presentation. For that business plan, you're really cutting and pasting and improving all of the previous homeworks that you've been doing. So it's not as hard as it seems to do all that. So here's where your Dropbox is. And again, reminder, here's important dates that are when these things are due. You got discussions. Get yourself real familiar with this. Look through the requirements. Do a little icebreaker. Each week you've got a discussion. Get in there. Otherwise, you're 0. And it's kind of hard when people aren't discussing or they kind of jump in a couple weeks later. It doesn't really work that way. Nothing here for that. By the way, you have grades right here, which are, I can't really show you any grades right now. So, this is just grades. You'll see those as they're populated. So, welcome to class. I think this is going to be a really fun class. Everything's working good. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. You probably are going to need to get email correspondence back and forth with me. If you're not on email with your teacher, who do you know? Who's who? Okay. Good luck, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be around.